Thank you very much, the Dr. Carmen, the very detailed introduction, and also thank organization committee organized this special meeting. So I'm so happy to meet a lot of friends and colleagues, although this is not in person. So today I'd like to talk about all solid-state batteries from sulfide-based to halide-based electrolytes. The Dr. Yi just talked about challenges in battery. I saw he listed 9 challenges. One of them is energy density. So let's talk about start from the battery report. It's an European research roadmap for future of the batteries. So talk about the energy density. So I took this figure from this report. So this one is, so let me get laser pointer choice. Yeah, this one here is the specific energy density. This one is volumetric energy density. You can see the different battery systems. So here is, for example, lithium-ion batteries. And also, the different systems, they have a different advantage. But if we look at the combined energy density, is a solid-state battery with the lithium metal is show very promising here. And also in this report, also using this figure, talk about the efforts from different countries as a function of the years. So you see that here are 2 points are very important. For example, 2020 here is energy density. The specific energy density is around 300. And then I compare the different systems, and then to see that here is 2030, they have a very high energy density. So I think here is a solid-state battery show very promising the energy density and also safety concern. But still, solid-state battery have a challenge. So for example, here we talk about this solid-state battery structure is the challenge basically, for example, the interface. You already talked about the interface. And also Shirley and Donghai also will talk about the interface too. So for example, the interface with the anode, for example, lithium metal, and also interface with the cathode. And also here is a solid-state electrolyte. So for example, is interface with the cathode. They have a lot of challenges. For example, it's a mismatch, cracks, stress, and also interdiffusion, and also electrochemical reactions. So the people using different strategies to address it. For example, using coating, using control CI to suppress the interface reactions. At the same time, we look at the interface. We need a lithium-ion transport. So also the mechanical or corrosion resistance, all is very important at the interface. So if we talk about a lot here is lithium metal, a lot of challenge too. For example, dendrite formation, these volume change, reactions, all the things. So when we talk about the solid-state electrolyte, we know currently we have a polymer-based, oxide-based, sulfide-based. So if we compare different properties, for example, ionic conductivity, air stability, and reactions with anode, cathode, and the devices, all the factors. So they have a disadvantage and a disadvantage. For example, the polymer-based room temperature ionic conductivity is relatively low. And also oxide is if that's ceramic, when you have make devices, the interface, the problem. And also sulfide, they have a very high ionic conductivity, but talk about air stability or reactions with anode, cathode, they still have a challenge. So that's why they here maybe also need to develop the either hybrid, combine different electrolytes, or develop other types. So here our group work on the different system of solid state batteries. For example, polymer-based and sulfide-based, oxide-based, and hybrid. So we focus on the interface control, particularly using, for example, atomic layer deposition and molecular deposition control the interface. For example, with the anode, lithium metal, or cathode, or even we have the solid state battery, the electrode. So also we synthesize solid state electrolytes like air stable sulfide-based electrolyte. And also we work on another type is halide-based electrolytes. So today I just gave a two-part example. One is here using the sulfide-based, talk about the interface with the cathode. And also I'll give another example is halide-based electrolyte. So here I will talk about two parts. So one part is talk about interface design with the cathode using the sulfide-based as example. And then talk about halide-based electrolyte, talk about synthesize, maybe I don't have time to talk about stability, and also electrode. So I'll talk about interface, actually, we already talked about that a lot. In the liquid-based electrolyte, we know a lot of things happen in the interface, for example, ICI. And also if you're using the silicon, here is volume change. And also if you're using layer structure, transition metal dissolution, always happens at the interface. So here it is a liquid. If you move to a solid, this is more challenge because solid to solid, here's the interface problem. For example, I already mentioned that a few challenges. For example, mismatch reactions, even the space charge effect, all the things we need to address to have a higher solid state battery, high performance. So when we talk about the interface, I'd like to thank Professor Yves Moore. They're using calculation to predict what kind of the interface material is ideal. So for example, interface material with the cathode, a lot of the material with a good ionic conductivity, and also with the anode to see the window is very important. So our group actually using atomic layer deposition or molecular deposition design interface material used in the solid state battery. So yeah, we study a lot of different coatings, synthesize all kind of materials here for cathode, and also we also work on the other component for the anode as well. So here today, I'd like to mention what is ideal interface material. So for example, here is when we talk about morphology, is talk about a lot of nano. I think here is a nanoscale interface, so important. So in terms of morphology for interface, is not only nano scale, but also is very uniform, very thin. That's very important. And also the other properties like ionic conductivity or even electronic conductivity also important. So we need to control the mechanical property, even the corrosion resistance for this interface material. So if you see all the features we are looking for, what kind of the method we can synthesize this kind of a very thin, uniform, combined property. If we compare the CVD, PVT, even the chemical method, not easy to get that the nanoscale uniform. So ALD, MLD give a help. So our group will work on that last 10 years. So to see here how to synthesize good ionic conductive coatings using ALD. For example, ALD generally for inorganic material could contain the lithium. When we move to organic material, we call this one molecular deposition using the same machine. And also we can combine inorganic and organic to turn the mechanical property and other properties. So that's why here our group dedicate a lot this technique. So today I just gave a few examples on the interface for the cathode. The first one I talk about the tools, for example, in situ synchrotron radiation to understanding the interface. So second one to see here how to control the interface, and then the interface ionic conductivity, how important. So yeah, we talk about that sulfide-based electrolyte. I'd like to thank Professor Kano here, they make a great contribution on this type of materials. So we know the advantage of very high ionic conductivity is up to 10⁻². But they have a challenge. For example, we talk about air stability and also reactions with the cathode anode. So many groups study interface using different tools. For example, here is people using the TM, XPS, Thompson's, and other techniques. For example, Professor Ionic group did a lot of work. And also I know the Shirley and Donghai also will talk about the interface too. So actually our group, they study this interface using in situ the ZINs. So here we pick up the system is NMC 811 with the LGPS. So here we try to answer a few questions. For example, here, why there is a very big irreversible capacity fit in the beginning, and also when and where they have a side reaction on the cathode surface, and also what is structure change. So if we're using the coating without coating, what difference in this system? So in order to answer the questions here, we have to assimilate battery to see without coating, is batteries run very badly. And also if with ARD coating using lithium niobium oxide, battery can run smoothly. So we try to understand what happened at the interface. Using experimental genes, we found during the cycling, we found new features corresponding to lithium phosphate. And also we found the nickel KH is shift to the right, indicating lithium reduced. This is without ARD coating. We see that the cathode material with a sulfide-based electrolyte have reactions. But with ARD coating on the cathode, we see that we cannot find any reactions. And also here is seems the cathode is stable. But we've tried to understand why this is not stable on the cathode surface. We're also using the TM to study the surface. To see here, the surface top is roughly 12 nanometers. They have a phase change during the cycling from layer structure to row salt structure. And also is EOS support this, corresponding to ZIN's in situ study as well. So that means here is sulfide-based electrolyte. They really have the challenge at the interface. So we have to design good interface material to have a better performance. So the second part is still related to this kind of cathode, but we're using different type of the coating and also procedure. But here I try to compare liquid-based and solid, what difference? So here collaboration with the PNL, Dr. Zhang's group and Dr. Wang's group, we try to understand the interface in the liquid electro system. So we know that is the high nickel cathode, they have cracks, particularly along the green boundary. So motivation for our study, we tried using ARD coating. And after coating, we have annealing to try to send the material, coating material into green boundary to address this problem. So we're using the ALD to synthesize lithium phosphate on the 811. After coating, you can find the signal of phosphorus on the surface. After annealing, is a coating material penetrate into the grains and then stay in the grain boundary. You see that here is signals phosphorus on the grain boundary. So using this way, we see the material using this procedure already in the grain boundary. So the performance, we see that here is compare without coating. We see after 200 cycles, just maintain 79%. But after have a coating annealing, we can maintain is 91% after 200 cycles in the room temperature. And the high temperature is obviously is big difference. So we also try to understand what difference. For example, is without coating after cycling, is you can see some cracks, and also is we found signal fluorine and carbon indicating liquid-based electrolyte penetrate inside of the particle. But if you're using the coating annealing, we cannot find the cracks, and also is no signal fluorine and carbon, indicating is this layer or the coating on the grain boundaries blocked reactions. And also we compare the details to see that here is without coating, the before cycling structure is perfect. Without coating the here, the after cycling 200, we found a phase transition. And then with coating annealing, you see the structure maintains the same as the before cycling. So that indicating the process we are using ALD coating plus annealing can address three problems at the same time. One is prevent the cracks, and also the prevent solid liquid reactions. At the same time is avoid the structure change. So this is a liquid-based electrolyte. If we're using the same system for solid, for example, we're using LGPS as example, using the same procedure, what happened? So the here talk about here without cycling, you see the battery cannot cycle. But with this system is ALD coating annealing, is a battery and the GPS solid-state electrolyte can the cycle, but now just maintain 66% rotation. We still found there's a big challenge compared to liquid. So we think about this, the coating, after ALD coating annealing, the material penetrate in, but outside exposure. So we think about, can we using extra coating on the top to increase capacity rotation. So after you try this one, is with additional layer coating, is increase capacity after 100 cycles to 78%. And also repeatability is increased too. So from this example, we see the solid state, the battery using sulfide-based electrolyte. They do have a very big challenge. Even by using this kind of procedure, we can still not get a 92% capacity maintained, even the 200 cycles. So this one just 100 cycles. So that means here we need to develop a new approach to see address the interface in this kind of system. So we also understand here without coating what difference. Actually, without coating we have a cracks. With this coating annealing, we can find the cathode materials good morphology, no cracks. So XPS indicating without coating they have reactions, without coating significantly is reduced reactions. So after this one, I just show you one more example here. The interface, how important in terms of Ionic conductivity. Is low, high, how high is good? So in order to answer this question, we have the lithium niobium titanium oxide, the interface maintain the 5 nanometers with a different annealing temperature. We can control different Ionic conductivity. So it's 450, we can maintain the highest ionic conductivity. So we try to assimilate the battery to compare is ionic conductivity at the interface, if different, how big different performance. You can find if ionic conductivity interface low, the capacity is low. If that is here is a higher the ionic conductivity, maintain the very high performance. The reason here is a barrier here is very important for lithium transport, and also including that is leakability. So here's demonstrate ionic conductivity at the interface, so important. So let's have a summary here. I give 3 examples, the ZINS in-situ study, and also the coating plus annealing, and also the ionic conductivity at the interface as example. Using last few minutes, about 10, I gave you a second example, Halide-based electrolyte. So here I would like to share with you this type of electrolyte, because we talk about a lot of challenge polymer and oxide sulfide-based electrolyte. Is we think about, do we have a new type solid-state electrolyte? So here I try to give you an overview of this field, what happened. So I'd like to give you the example from Panasonic. So in the end of the 2018, they report the lithium yttrium chloride and lithium yttrium boron. So they found a very high ionic conductivity in this system. And also they found the solid state electrolyte is stable in dry argon and dry oxygen environment. And also with any coating with the cathode, the battery can run very well. For example, compare with sulfide-based, initial Coulomb efficiency, sulfide-based just maintain 84%, but the Halide-based electrolyte maintain 94% Coulomb efficiency. And also the mechanism lithium transport is here. They found why they maintain very high ionic conductivity, because here is the transport from octahedral to tetrahedral directly, or octahedral to tetrahedral, the structure. That's why I maintain a very high ionic conductivity. And also talk about ionic conductivity. Recently, we have a summary to see in this field. Actually, earlier days, people actually is 1930s. The first report get ionic conductivity is 10⁻⁷, and then after 40 years, second report is get 10⁻⁶, and then after the 90s, 1890s, 2000, 4 groups make great contributions. For example, here Professor Kano actually in 1980s published many papers. They can bring the ionic conductivity from 10⁻⁶ to 10⁻⁵, and then to -4. So here is Panasonic to bring the 10⁻�3. Also, our group is working on that. Last year we have lithium indium chloride also get 10⁻�3, and also other group like Xueliang group also work on this system, get 10⁻⁴. This year is more group get involved. For example, is Professor Linda another group work on that, and also Professor Ther's group also work on that. This year, our group also dedicate this area. So we developed the different solid-state electrolyte and now using for different systems like lithium oxygen, and also to study other features. So let's give you one example in this system. Actually, in the beginning, we want to synthesize a stable lithium indium chloride. So we're using ball mining method. After annealing, we found this system can get 10⁻�3. So not only the dry air, dry oxygen, we found in humidity area is also stable. For example, different humidity maintain good ionic conductivity. And also with the cathode very stable. I should mention here with the anode is not that stable. So that's why we're still using interlayer with the anode. So you can show the sulfide-based not stable. With this, the highlight is battery can run. Particularly here with the cathode, after cycling, there no any reactions. So after this study, we see how to scale up mass production this material, lithium-ion chloride. We developed the solution method. We're just using lithium chloride with the indium chloride. After reaction, we remove the water, and then we can get still room temperature up to 10 to minus 3 ionic conductivity. And interestingly, we found this the solid-state electrolyte put in water back and heat again, no change ionic conductivity. So that moment we can have 100 grams, but now we have a kilogram scale for this solid-state electrolyte. And also the demonstrate battery, I was still using this layer with the anode, the battery can show stable. So recently, we also work on other systems. For example, here, lithium scandium chloride also get 10 to minus 3. Also thank collaboration from Professor Yifei group. We try to understand the mechanism to see why they have very high ionic conductivity. For example, vacancy of the hoping and the concentration, the barrier, and also the scandium blocking all the factors here. So also we demonstrate, for example, lithium to lithium is in the beginnings form ICI and then later on is stable. So in this system, we didn't using the interlayer, directly using the here, the indium as a anode can run the battery. So I'd like to mention the other group also work on that. For example, is Professor Linda Naza group work on that using zirconium doping lithium yttrium chloride increase ionic conductivity, and also work on the lithium scandium chloride. They found that is the spinel structure present very high ionic conductivity up to 10 to minus 3 as well. So to show the battery performance. So let's have a summary this part. I think here is just compare the recent 2 years progress. For example, 2018, generally we're using green to describe, using the yellow describe this the field. For example, is ionic conductivity not so high and is air not stable. But after it's 2018, we're using green describe it. For example, we can get a higher ionic conductivity and also air stability. Particularly now, recently, Professor Yifei Mo have a calculation. Lithium-indium chloride is the best air stability. And also with the cathode stable, but here is we need to address anode. So compare with the sulfide, you see the sulfide here is a very high ionic conductivity, but this one, the highlight is now is approach. But they have the advantage, for example, air stability and also the stability with the cathode. So both we need to address the anode. So talk about the energy density. If we talk about the system with compare with the sulfide. So here is the Honli group recently have a comparison with a different cathode. What they found if solid state electrolyte thickness 50 nanometers combined with 811 lithium metal, they can reach energy density 330. If you combine lithium rich, they can get 440. If we compare the highlight, just using lithium-indium chloride, this get a similar the number. For example, the 811 or lithium rich. So in the end, I'd like to have summary perspectives for this field. Actually, this area still is earlier stage. So in this review, we talk about we need to do a lot of things. For example, we still need to increase ionic conductivity. We need a wider window high voltage or low voltage. So particularly here, we need to address stability with the anode for the lithium metal, and also the cost. We need to demonstrate the port cell. So I'd like to thank EVMO group. So here is they have a calculation to see what is the right direction. So now we see the indium actually synthesized. If we talk about window, here is not very wide. And also recently we have a scandium here relatively wider. But a good system is fluoride, highlight fluoride. You can see that here is for cathode is higher up to 6 and the lower close to lithium. So that means the fluoride is good direction, but we know it's a big challenge because it's hard to get a very high ionic conductivity. So let's have a summary out here. I think today I gave the examples for the interface using sulfide electrolyte example, and also talk about the Halide-based electrolyte. Gave the comparison, both of them. I'd like to thank my group members and the financial supporters, and also the collaborators. I will not talk about one by one. Thank you very much for your attention.